Hey guys, I'm Eric with Extreme Terrain, and as you just saw and heard, we're checking out the Flowmaster Outlaw dual exhaust system with black tips and optional side or rear exit, fitting all 2009 and later Toyota Tundras. Now, as you just heard, I would give it a solid 5 out of 5 on our loudness meter. This exhaust really comes to life on the Toyota Tundra. In fact, it's one of the loudest exhausts for the Tundra that I've seen here at Extreme Terrain. And with that aggressive exhaust note, this kit is really for the Tundra owner out there who loves to hear the sound of their V8 and they want that V8 to sing to them all day long. Now, out on our road test, I really noticed that this exhaust comes to life under hard acceleration. And when we were pushing it up close to the red line, you're really getting a really aggressive exhaust note, and everyone's gonna notice. It's really an attention getter. When we backed off that acceleration and just kind of cruised down the road at, say, 40 to 50 miles per hour, just kind of normal cruising speed, there was a little bit of noticeable exhaust note in the cabin that kind of sticks with you. Now, if that's something you want and you want to hear that all the time, that's something that you're really going to get with this exhaust. And I think it's a pleasurable note. I wouldn't necessarily call it drone, but it's a definite presence in the cabin as you're driving down the road. Now, if you're road tripping with the family and the kids and you're spending a lot of hours in the truck, you may not want that sound with you all day long. That's kind of up to your personal taste and what you decide you want to live with as a daily driver. Now, Flowmaster is one of the best known names in aftermarket exhausts that are out there right now. And all that aggressive tone and character from this exhaust really comes from that Super 10 Performance Series muffler that you get with this kit. In addition to that kind of stylish exhaust note that you're getting with this kit, the Flowmaster name brings with it the use of quality materials. You get 2.5-inch tubing throughout that is made out of quality 409 stainless steel, and that is one of the best out there for corrosion and weathering resistance. And out here at the tips, these are polished with black ceramic coating over 304 grade stainless, which is top of the line stainless steel. You don't have to worry about these corroding anytime soon. Now, with that said, this aggressive exhaust note and quality materials does not come at a cheap price, and this is not a bargain basement exhaust kit. This is one of the better ones out there, and currently right now it's coming in around $1,100. So considering what you're getting, I would say it's kind of towards the middle to upper end of exhausts out there in terms of what you're going to be spending. Now, with that price, keep in mind that this dual exhaust kit offers something that most dual exhaust kits do not, and that is an optional exit for your exhaust. Now, this, you can either route it out the side with a different pipe that basically turns it almost 90 degrees out to the side, and you're going to see images of that in this video, or you can have it shooting straight out the back like we have it set up here and for our sound clips. I personally think the rear exit on our truck looks great because it's a monochrome truck with some black and blue here. We don't have any chrome going on, so these black tips I think look really good on this truck. As far as the installation goes, guys, I'm giving it a solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Give yourself about 3 hours time to get this job done from start to finish. The most challenging part of this exhaust setup is you're going to have to create a new hanger position over on the driver's side of your truck for that piping that is normally not there. Now, that is the most difficult part of this installation, both hanging that new hanger, mounting it onto your frame, as well as using the included rubber hanger that comes with this kit. That rubber hanger is made from very tough material that kind of reminds me of some suspension bushings. It's that stiff, and getting the metal hanger in there was quite a workout, as you'll see here in the video. So I also recommend getting ready for this installation, not only your tools, but have some PB Blaster or other type of penetrating oil that you could put in there to help make that a little bit easier. So let's look at our tools that we're going to use and go ahead with the installation. All right, guys, tools we're going to use in this install include an electric impact wrench, a swivel socket, 16, 14, a 10 millimeter socket. We're also going to need another 10 millimeter socket on a socket wrench, a 14 millimeter ratcheting wrench, a hanger removal tool, and some penetrating oil. All right, so before we can get started installing our new exhaust, we're going to go ahead and get our factory one off. We're going to show you how to do that while keeping our factory pipe intact. Obviously, if you plan on never reusing your original equipment, muffler and exhaust pipe, you can just cut it and make it a lot easier to remove off of your truck, to be quite honest with you. But this is a fleet vehicle, so this installation is not going to be permanent. So we're going to show you how to get it all out in one piece. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing I would recommend doing before you get going here, let your exhaust cool down if you've been driving your truck, and also get in there with some lubricating oil and spray up the little rubber hangers. That'll make popping those metal hangers out of the rubber a lot easier. All right, now to get started, like I already said, guys, I'm gonna make sure everything's cooled down. These first 2 bolts that we're gonna take out are right by a catalytic converter, which gets really hot. And we've been letting our truck sit for like an hour and it's still pretty warm. I also recommend having eyewear and some gloves while you work with your exhaust. Exhaust pipes tend to have sharp edges to them, not to mention the surfaces being hot as well. So let's go ahead and get these out. Our factory bolts are 14 millimeter. All right, same 14 millimeter socket for these two bolts as well. Now we're gonna have a total of 4 rubber hangers like this, guys, and to be quite honest with you, if you're trying to keep your pipe intact like we are, you can do these in any order that you want. We're kind of doing it the way it might be easiest for us to demonstrate for you. So we're at the one that's all the way obviously back here by our spare tire. And you might see a little bit of wetness here on the rubber. I sprayed some penetrating oil on there earlier just to let it sink in. That makes these coming off a lot easier. All right, guys, now this is the 4th out of 4 rubber hangers. So obviously once we pop this one loose, you gotta make sure your pipe is supported in some kind of way. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up our uninstall. So let's go ahead and lay them out on the floor and check out how it stacks up with our new exhaust. Okay, so now we have our factory exhaust off our truck. I'm gonna lay it out here on the floor next to our new Flowmaster Outlaw dual exhaust system and just kind of show you some of the differences in what you're getting here. Now, obviously the huge thing that stands out, or I should say the small thing that stands out, is this Flowmaster muffler. It is easily at least 1/3 the size of your factory muffler, if not even smaller than that. And that's really where this more aggressive exhaust note is going to be coming from. A lot less sound deadening material there and just a lot less you're working with. And that's also going to give you the benefit of more free-flowing exhaust. So that's going to give you a little bit of power increase, but something that's going to be more noticeable, I think, is going to be in the throttle response. Now, the other thing you're getting with this system is throughout, from front to the tail, you're dealing with 409 stainless steel. That's a very high quality material. And the matte black tips that come in this kit are the premium grade 304 stainless, which is top of the line. So you're really not gonna have to worry about corrosion for a long time to come, if ever, with this system. So let's go ahead and get it mounted up. All right, guys, now first step here we're gonna grab our short lead pipe here, and you're gonna wanna orient it so that it is kind of, as you're looking forward, it's kind of canting to the left a little bit, and then you line up the flange to that. Grab one of these hanger clamps, slide it on, and you're going to want it oriented so that the hanger is pointing towards the front of the truck. Just going to get that started up in here. That'll help hold the pipe in place, at least a little bit. Now we're going to get our factory bolts and get those started. I'm just gonna get it started by hand for right now. All right guys, now we got the longer front pipe here. We're gonna get it lined up and some bolts started. All right, now using a 14 mil socket, I'm going to snug these up a little bit. Not completely tight, but snugged up just enough that it'll kind of hold the pipe up in place. All right guys, now grab the other hanger clamp out of your kit. You want this one oriented forward as well too. And something I recommend make your life a lot easier is taking some PB Blaster or some kind of similar lubricant and spray it inside the rubber grommet here where you're sliding in the hanger, make it a lot easier. All right guys, now in our kit you're going to have a total of 7 of these type of clamps. 2 of them are going to be slightly smaller than the other 5. You're going to want those smaller ones here on the inlet side of these pipes, and your Flowmaster muffler should be marked inlet. And if it's not, it's going to be the smaller opening. These out towards the exhaust tailpipe, they're larger openings, just so you know. So go ahead and grab your muffler and get it started on here. We're not going to tighten anything up just yet. It is pretty snug. It should stay there for right now. All right guys, now we're going to create a new hanger spot here that your truck doesn't have already because we're switching over to a dual exhaust from a single exhaust. So grab this part out of your kit as well as this big square washer, as well as a regular flat washer and lock washer, and this nut as well. When we mount this up, it's going to go up in that large hole you can see up there, and you're going to want the hanger pointing towards the rear of the truck. Might be easier if you get that big square washer in place first. And we'll get the other washers in place. And then I'm going to start the nut by hand. And we're going to tighten it down. You need a 14 millimeter wrench of some kind. If you have a ratcheting wrench, like I do, that's going to be a lot easier for you. I don't think you're going to be able to get a socket on this. It's too tight up there. All right guys, now grab the next section of pipe. Now our kit came with a diagram of how the system looks in the different pieces, and it labels each part. There should be a label in case you're a little bit confused of which section of pipe comes next, but it's this curved one that's going to go up and over the rear axle, and it's got a hanger on the front of it right here that we're going to push up into the rubber hanger right here. And then slides inside the muffler. All right guys, grab the next section of pipe here, get a clamp started on first. This section is going to go over the section that's already mounted on the truck, and as you can see, we already have our rubber hanger started on here. We're going to try and line these up more or less at the same time. It's a little tight. Now with this section of pipe, I'm behind the axle and I'm going to start it up into the hanger first. And as you can see guys, as I was pushing the pipe forward, we were able to kind of line it up into the muffler and slide it in as far as possible. Again, pre-lube these rubber hangers before you insert the metal part of the hanger. Makes it a lot easier. All right guys, now grab this section of pipe. Make sure you have a clamp started on there already. And you're gonna want to tighten this up a little bit, but not completely, because once we start tightening up the rest of the exhaust system, it will realign just a little bit, so you don't want to have this completely tight so you can't adjust it in the end. So after we get this on, we'll repeat it on the other side, and then we're going to go back to the front of the exhaust and start tightening things up before we get our tips on. All right guys, now we pretty much have the entire system mocked up with the exception of the tips. So we're going back here at the front and we're going to tighten down these factory bolts and then just work our way back and tighten up all the fittings as we go. And again, these factory bolts take a 14 millimeter. And these new clamps here take a 14 millimeter as well. All right, now we're going to do the clamps on our muffler. You're going to need a 16 mil socket for these. And you have some adjustability. You can slide it in, tuck it in further if you want to slide out a little bit more. Basically up to your personal taste. And you're going to need a 10 millimeter tool on both sides here. You have a bolt and a nut. All right, guys, so that wraps up this review and install of this Flowmaster Outlaw Series dual exhaust system with black tips and optional side or rear exit, fitting all 2009 and later Toyota Tundras. For all things Tundra, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.